Hey guys, this is Nick from ForexNoobs.com with some midday analysis. Today is Thursday, the 11th of August 2016, and the time is 13:11 here in the UK. You're looking at an AUDJPY daily chart, and in today's analysis, we're going to be looking at almost every pair on this list, and we're going to be looking at each time frame for these pairs. When I say each time frame, I mean all of these time frames: 3 hour, 4 hour, 5 hour, 6 hour, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, and daily. The reason I do this is to scan for price action setups. If I look at all the time frames, I can see price action forming across different time frames, and I can get an idea of what price is doing, and I could potentially see a price action setup. A reversal setup is mainly what I'm looking for. Now, just because I'm looking for a reversal setup, there's no guarantee I'm going to find it. Some days are slow days and I don't see any setups. Some days are fast days and I see a lot of setups. So it just really depends what the charts are going to show me. There's no guarantee that we're actually going to see a trade setup. We might do, we might not do. And I do this analysis a few times per day. I only post it to YouTube once per day, but personally I do it a few times per day. And just because I don't find something right now, it doesn't mean that I won't find something when I check my charts again in about 4 to 8 hours, because obviously charts are constantly moving, and things can develop over time. Now, one thing that I should address before we start is these time frames. I do not trade all of these time frames. I only trade a few of them. I trade the 3 hour, the 4 hour, the 6 hour, the 8 hour, the 12 hour, and the daily. These other time frames, the 9, 10, 11, 7, and 5, they're there just for analysis purposes. They allow me to see price action split up into different candles, which allows me to better read what price is actually doing. Well, anyway, that's enough about that. Let's actually get into the analysis. We're going to kick things off with AUDJPY, but AUDJPY is currently stuck in between two support resistance areas. So AUDJPY is there, and support resistance is up here, support is down here. So that pretty much means that we're probably not going to see any setups, but still going to check every time frame anyway. But it's obviously the same across all the time frames. AUD New Zealand, let's check that out. We'll start up with the daily. There was a trade on AUD New Zealand that was entered a few days ago by some members. It looks like it hit target today, actually, but I think a few people closed out early, if I remember correctly. Let me check the forum post about that. I'm just curious what happened with that trade. Did anyone in this room enter? I think Viet posted that one. Wow, 4.67. All right. Yeah, so it looks like this was a decent trade, but we're not going to see any actual setups here because, again, price is in between two support resistance areas. So AUDUSD, again, between two support resistance areas. Doesn't look like we're going to see anything on the AUD pairs at all. Yeah. All right. Euro AUD. All right. Well, this is sitting on support, and it looks like we got some solid indecision forming over the last 3 days. Now, one thing about Euro, I'm very apprehensive about trading this pair right now. I'm apprehensive again about going long on the Euro. Because of what's happening currently in Europe, Brexit, rate cuts with the pound, because of everything that's going on in Europe, the euro and the pound, I find it hard to believe they're going to gain any significant ground to the upside. So I'm apprehensive about taking a long trade on these pairs. But I could understand completely if not all of you feel the same, and if some of you guys want to take a long trade. So we will do some analysis for this and try to figure out if it is a viable setup. But please do keep in mind, I'm not too sure if I would actually enter this trade. I don't really see it as that safe a trade. So one of the key concepts of using price action to enter a trade or to figure out your entry point for the trade is to look for a recent high. So if yesterday you were looking at this indecision candle here, right? Let's zoom in a bit. I think this is going to be a long webinar because I do have a fair bit to explain about this setup here. So let's say that yesterday you were looking at this indecision candle and you wanted to base your entry off of this indecision candle. You would have placed your entry here, roughly, or maybe a tiny bit higher. It would have been triggered, and then bam, you would have been stopped out because your stop loss would have been, I don't know, somewhere around there. That's why we don't place our entry based on the most recent indecision candle. If we have another indecision candle that has a high that is relatively close. So even if we wanted to trade this indecision candle, the entry should be up here. Now, let me explain why the entry should be up there. The entry should be up there because that is a recent high. And if we place it here, like, I'm not sure if any of you did. I don't think any of you did, because most of you in this room are Forex Mastermind members. So all of you are Forex Mastermind members, so you should know this already. But this is more for the new people here and for people on YouTube. Okay, so if we place our entry here, and then it's going to be easy, very, very easy for buyers to break that high. Buyers have only recently broken that high. Yesterday, or the day before, not yesterday, the day before yesterday, they were up here. So it's going to be very easy for buyers to break this high here. Very easy for them to do so. It doesn't require any significant move, significant strength from the buyers to break that high, because only recently they've been up higher than that. So what you want to do with your entries is you want to place your entry at a place where it actually tells you there's an actual, you want your entries to confirm that buyers have taken control of price. That's what you want your entry to confirm. If you're going long, you want your entry to confirm that buyers have taken control of price. So for them to confirm that they've taken control of price, I would want to see them break this high, because that's a high that hasn't been broken in several days. Price came down to here, pushed back up, came back down, and then it was here for 2 days. So if buyers were able to push all the way up to here and break this high, that would show me that they have actually gained some significant ground against the sellers, and that the buyers are actually quite strong. If anyone has any questions about this, feel free to ask. So for this specific potential setup here, we've already established we'd want our entry around about up here. Now our stop loss needs to be lower than the most recent low, and we want to have that because we want the stop loss to be hard to reach. So the most recent low is here. So this trade would have to be something like this. Your entry would need to be here. And that's a safe entry. You could put your entry down here if you want, but that's not a safe entry. And yesterday proved that, because yesterday broke that entry and then fell back down. So I'd want my entry around about there. My stop loss needs to be beyond the most recent low, which is this current candle. And what is that going to do? It's going to give us a risk to reward ratio at the next resistance area of around about 1.8. That's acceptable. I mean, I guess that is acceptable. It's an acceptable risk to reward ratio. There is some signs of minor support resistance here. You can see when price pushed down and then tried to come back up, it bounced away for a little bit before coming up. And here we can see price bounce from this level several times. So I would be concerned when price approaches here, around about that level there. Damn it, I didn't mean to do that. All right, so the first area of concern is only 1.09 risk to reward ratio away. So yeah, I would definitely not say that this is the safest trade to get into, because what you're looking at here is at the next resistance area, you're getting about 1.8, but you know, price is going to struggle to reach this resistance area. It's going to struggle before then. Potentially, it's going to struggle before then. Sorry guys. I need to pause. Sorry about that, guys. I just had a phone call, so I had to take that phone call. But yeah, I'm back now. So I can't remember where we were, but what I was gonna say. This analysis is gonna go on for ages. What I was gonna say about this potential setup here is that it's not the safest setup. We've got a risk to reward ratio that, you know, while it's okay, while it's acceptable, you know, it is all the way to the next resistance area. So it's all the way up here, and price might struggle to reach that area. And then we've got the other problem that we are going along on the euro, and, you know, that's somewhat of a risky thing to do given the current economic climate in Europe. So yeah, I would probably say not, that this trade's not the smartest setup to get into. That would be my personal opinion on this. Okay, so Samuel, does it matter if the next indecision candle makes a new low? Yeah, then that would be a new low. So you would be using that low as your stop loss, or something beyond that low, a few pips beyond that low. That would be the new low. You meant for my entry point? Ah, right. Okay, I see what you're saying. Well, since this entry point here, since this indecision candle, this current one, is pretty close, I'd still probably use that high. Because that high is pretty close to these recent highs, I would still probably use that high. If it was like, if indecision kept forming for another 3 or 4 candles, like Tej is saying, then I wouldn't really be looking to take the trade, because then you've got price stuck on this support area for 3 or 4 days. Sorry, for 6 or 7 days. So then it wouldn't really be a proper reversal setup anymore. Then it might become a reversal setup on the weekly chart, at which point you would be looking at the weekly indecision candle and you'd be basing your entry on that. But I don't really trade the weekly charts. So anyway, so to sum things up, because we need to get this analysis done, to sum things up, we aren't going to, I personally don't think that this is a safe trade, and I don't recommend it. But you know, in the end, it's up to you guys. Okay, EURAUD GBP. EURAUD GBP is forming indecision on an area of resistance. We'd be counting on pound strength for this setup here. And again, that's something I don't really want to count on. But this doesn't look like a bad setup. I mean, if you're happy to trade the euro or the pound at the moment, and I'm not exactly gonna say that I'm not going to trade euro or pound. I'm still willing to trade those pairs. I just don't want to bet on euro strength. But see, this is euro and the pound together. Like it's euro GBP pair. So this one is a bit different. I might possibly consider a trade here, depending on how this 12-hour candle closes, or how the daily candle closes. But it is looking like we've got indecision on an area of resistance. It's not the strongest indecision, and it is a bit above the resistance area. But remember, support resistance areas, they're never perfect. You just place them based, you just place them kind of roughly in the zone you want them. So if you pull this up slightly, it would still be just as valid up here, and then it looks like it's inside the support resistance area. Support resistance isn't perfect. You can never get it perfect. So yeah, looking at this, it looks reasonable. It's on the daily chart, it still kind of looks like it's a pretty bullish trend. But you know, keep in mind that it's not like I would plan on entering this anytime soon. I'd still want the candle to close, and then I would want sellers to start taking control of price and pushing price down, by which point this won't look very bullish anymore. So yeah, I'll monitor this one closely. I'll see how it plays out. I might consider entering it. But as with any euro or pound pair, at the moment, because of the uncertainty of Brexit, I'm going to be trading with a reduced position size to reduce the overall risk. I guess I could do some, not much point discussing entries and stuff for this because the candle hasn't even closed yet. But I guess based on the current candle, I would want to do something. Sorry, chart's being a little weird today. Yeah, something like this. So an entry around about roughly the 85.70, stop loss around about the 86.20, and a target around about the 84.65. That's all rough targets and stops, but yeah, something like that is how I would want to play this one out. EURAUD is in between two support resistance areas, so we're not going to see anything interesting here. Euro New Zealand, yeah. It's sitting on support, but that big spike down means that we won't be able to place a decent stop loss on this trade. Yeah, Euro USD, we're not going to get anything here. GBP AUD is heading down towards the support area, but it's still in between two support resistance areas, so we're not really going to see anything here. So the only thing we've seen so far is that I would actually consider trading is Euro GBP. Damn it! I think I'm gonna get rid of these things. They're all bugged out, and I can't be bothered waiting for TradingView to fix them. Okay, so GBP CHF. It's sitting on a strong area of support. Let's look at it on the lower time frames and see if we're seeing signs of indecision. The daily obviously doesn't show any signs of indecision. The lower time frames are showing us that price is struggling in this area. It might only be struggling a little bit, and the most recent candles show price falling, but we are seeing signs of price struggling to get down into this area. But nothing that actually looks that tradable right now. This will be something to look at tomorrow to see if some indecision is forming on GBPCHF. GBPJPY is in between two support resistance areas, so yeah, nothing. GBPUSD is sitting on support. Alright, GBPUSD is in a similar spot to GBPCHF. It looks like it's come down into a support area and it's struggling a little bit, but we're not going to actually see any potential setup here until tomorrow probably, simply because it's just kind of reached that area. So if we're going to see indecision, we're going to need one more candle. New Zealand JPY. Nothing worth trading. New Zealand USD. Nothing worth trading. USD CAD is in between two support resistance areas. Oh god, that thing's starting to annoy me a lot. That thing. All right, USD CHF. Yesterday's trade, or Monday's trade, I think it was, hit its target overnight. Not a trade I entered. I mean, a trade posted to the forum. I think we discussed it yesterday. And then we got USD JPY. Nothing much going on there either. All right, so it's another relatively slow day. It seems like most of this week's setups were at the start of the week. We're on Monday, which I missed because I was on holiday. So I missed most of the good stuff this week, and I am left with the boring stuff. But yeah, we might get something tomorrow, or even later today. It's possible. I'm going to be keeping an eye on GBPCHF and GBPUSD. Even though I'm a little apprehensive to trade these pairs, especially as a long, I'll still keep a close eye on these ones and see what happens in the coming 8-hour candle or the coming 12-hour candle. See how that plays out. But yeah, Euro GBP looks to be like the only decent potential setup right now. So yeah, I'll keep a close eye on that and see how that one plays out. But I'd want this 12-hour candle to close first, and then I would be looking to potentially enter a short, depending on if my entry is triggered, obviously. But yeah, other than that, guys, I think we can call an end to this analysis. Like I said, not a terribly exciting day, but you know, some days you get a lot of trades, some days you get very few trade setups. It really just depends on the day. Today is one of those days with very few trade setups. So yeah, I'll see you guys for tomorrow's analysis. We're going to be doing an analysis. We're going to be doing analysis tomorrow also, because I was away Monday and Tuesday. We didn't get to do Tuesday analysis, so I want to do 3 analysis sessions this week. So we'll do one tomorrow, even though it's Friday. I'll try to get that done earlier. That way we can catch any end of the day Friday trades possibly. So yeah, I'll see you guys for tomorrow's analysis.